The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is one of the classic and one of the oldest road courses in the country, and it's become a regular stop for just about every driver in sports cars and open wheel cars. Hello and welcome to our fourth and final installment of the year on NBCSN of the Mazda Road to Indy, where we feature the first two steps of the ladder to get to the Verizon IndyCar Series, USF2000 and Pro Mazda. I'm Kevin Lee, along with former Pro Mazda and Indy Lights driver Anders Krohn. When we come to the finish, drivers are, yes, thinking about that scholarship money to advance, but they're also, if they can't win the championship, trying to impress sponsors. What's the pressure like?
The pressure is immense at this point, Kevin. Imagine yourself as an 18-year-old fighting for $500,000. You've got Mazda, Cooper Tire, all these companies behind you backing you, so the pressure is immense.
In USF2000, the first step on the ladder with drivers as young as 15, Nico Jamin has had a hold on the championship for a little while. Can he finish it off?
Nico Jamin for sure has the momentum right now, but Aaron Telitz and Jake Edson are always right there ready to pounce, so this is going to go down to the wire.
Now in Pro Mazda, you're just one step away from Indy Lights. The champion gets there next year. How are we looking?
In Pro Mazda, it's been so tight. It's been the most competitive year of Pro Mazda ever. So we've seen Santi Urrutia just inching a little bit further ahead, but we've got Timothy Bure, Wayron Tan, Garrett Griss, so many other drivers having won races. It's going to be a tight one.
The Mid-Ohio weekend very busy for the Mazda Road to Indy, and we start this with lap-by-lap coverage of the first of 3 races for USF2000.
It's round 12 of the USF2000 Championship, and Nico Jamin on the pole for the 9th time, 8 in a row. He's the championship leader with 5 wins. Jake Edson second in the championship with 4 wins, starts second. Aaron Telitz third in points. Anthony Martin fourth in points in row number 2 as we continue to scroll through the field. And a very challenging course as we look at the rest of the starting lineup, Anders. We're talking about a little over 2.25 miles, and you have some elevation, you have some challenging corners.
Just an excellent track here at Mid-Ohio, and we're actually going to start down the backstretch on that run down to turn 4. That's a way longer straightaway here, so they're getting through now what's called the keyhole, turn 2, and now about to get on the gas here.
The pole sitter Jamin in the white car, Edson to his outside in the black 22 car, Telitz and Martin road number 2, and here we go. The green flag waving, and we're racing in Mid-Ohio. They're coming into turn number 3. That's the little kink. Turn 4 is going to be the first opportunity to make up some ground. Martin on the outside in the white and red car, and he goes from 4th all the way up to 2nd, Anders.
What a beautiful move there for Anthony Martin, and Parker Thompson as well around the outside from way back in the field. Now he's going to challenge Aaron Telitz there. Bunch of Team Pelfrey cars there. Then Yufeng Lo with a great start as well. But look at this Nico Jamin as he's winding his way through turn 7, 8, and 9 as the lead there. Senan Fielding, new to the series, up the inside of Nikita Listashkin.
Several newcomers making their debut in USF2000 that we're seeing this weekend. Great start for Jamin, and already out to about a 5-car length advantage, and Martin is pulled away as they battle for 3rd place.
Oh, look at this. Jake Edson trying to stick it down the inside there of Aaron Telitz. Can't make that happen. And what's going to happen now is Aaron Telitz has a lot of pressure, and he can't allow that to make a mistake because Anthony Martin is running away.
Telitz in 3rd. Edson started 2nd, is back in 4th. That's Parker Thompson in 5th as we ride with Garth Rickards.
Let's see if it can do anything here, and up now into turn 2, late on the brakes. They're catching up to Yufeng Lo. Now he's got to get himself lined up for a good run down that back straight where we saw the initial start. This is the best passing opportunity right here if he can get close enough in the draft.
Rickards in 7th position. That's him in the yellow car, back on board, looking ahead to Yufeng Lo. And Lo is going to take a little peek there for 5th, not going to be able to get it.
Parker Thompson just a little bit defensive to the inside of the track, so nice and clean move there. But look now, Garth Rickards all over the back there of Yufeng Lo with Luke Gavin now, his teammate, chasing that as well. So that's the best battle on the track right now, Kevin.
Gavin has been impressive in his first season in USF2000 this year, trying to make something happen here today.
Oh, and Yufeng Lo runs so wide there through turn 9. This is Garth Rickards' chance to pounce. Can he do something? Not around the outside of turn 11. You cannot make that stick. Yufeng Lo runs wide yet again. What's going to happen here?
These are all teammates together. And they touch, and one of them is off. Rickards is off.
And that was Luke Gavin trying for a move down the inside in turn 13, and Rickards in the wall there. We're going to need to see a replay to see exactly what happened.
And that is significant damage to Rickard's machine. So we'll wait for a look at this one again, and we are under yellow now, and here is our first look.
So it's a tough angle right there, Kevin, but it just looks like Luke Gavin understeers a little bit straight into the side of Garth Rickards. Here we are now on board with Rickards. Yeah, it just looks like Gavin slides into Rickards, and then he's into the wall.
Maybe got up on the curb just a little bit too, and that shot him to the left. So an early caution with Nico Jameen leading at Mid-Ohio. This is the Mazda Road to Indy on NBCSN, our fourth and final recap show of the season. And it's the first USF2000 race from August at Mid-Ohio. And coming to an early restart, this is a lap 6 restart with Nico Jameen out in front, and he is going to continue to control the pace here. He is in front of Anthony Martin, Tielitz, Edson, and Parker Thompson rounding out the top 5, but some jockeying for position back in the back.
Sen and Fielding with a move to the inside of Kayvon Andresori. Can he make that stick? No, he can't. Kayvon was extremely aggressive there, but Sen and Fielding here having a great debut race in USF 2000 with Afterburner Autosports. So he's clearly found some speed here in this race.
Fielding one of several making their debut in USF 2000 this weekend, including Jack Mitchell, Clint McMahon, and also Alex Mayer.
And here we have Sen and Fielding now being challenged by Isla Ogren. She tried her on the outside of turn 4. Could not make that stick that time, but she's keeping the pressure on. And now Luke Gavin, it doesn't look like he's sustained any damage from that contact with Garth Rickards. And that's really lucky, Kevin, because that was a pretty big impact.
Two teammates came together. That caused the caution just a moment ago. Jameen had no difficulty on the restart. By the way, Rickards did not get going again, so that is going to, it appears, end his day. There was pretty significant contact and damage to the front of that car.
Yeah, the left front of his car was completely destroyed. And just looking at the 3 people here in this image here with Parker Thompson, Yufeng Lo, and Luke Gavin, all rookies to USF 2000. And Luke Gavin obviously won that Mazda Speed Scholarship last year. That's why he's in that Soul Red Mazda car. He won that $200,000 scholarship to move up to USF 2000. Now on with Isla Ogren. Can she do anything with the rookie Sen and Fielding here? Up into turn 2, showing herself, can't quite make it stick this time by.
You mentioned the scholarship money. We're getting late in the season. That is very much on everyone's mind at this point. Coming up after 2 more races here on this weekend at Mid-Ohio, then it's the season finale at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca coming up in September. And then one of these drivers will have the funding to be able to move up to Pro Mazda.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic prize that's been put in place with Mazda and all of the partners through the Mazda Road to Indy. And the winner here will get $380,000 to move up to Pro Mazda. Just a massive price, and it's really unprecedented. You don't see that anywhere else in the world.
And significant funding, too, for the Pro Mazda champ to move to Indy Lights. And about $1 million for the Indy Lights champion with 3 races in 2016, including the 100th Indianapolis 500. All that to be determined by the end of the 2015 campaign.
But just look at the amount of pressure that Luke Gavin is putting now. Oh, Sen and Fielding down the inside there. Kayvon Sori can't quite make that stick. This might give a chance for Isla Ogren here to pounce down the inside into turn 1. Sen and Fielding then with an aggressive move to the inside.
Kind of went back and forth there a little bit.
This is great racing here, a little bit back in the field. Let's see if Isla can do anything now in 10th, looking to get to that 9th spot.
Fielding in his debut in USF 2000. Ogren takes a little bit of a peek into the keyhole. That's turn number 2, not happening here, and this is the longest straightaway. That's the key corner as we see one off back in the back. McMahon, one of the newcomers.
And that allowed Jack Mitchell to sneak on by. Jack showed some great pace in practice for this event, so it's a shame he's running as far back as he is, but hopefully this is his turn now to find a little bit of speed.
Max Hanratty going to the inside. That's for position. That's for 14th position, getting around McMahon.
So we're seeing all this great racing around the field, but the one guy that has not been challenged yet is Nico Jameen. He seems to be running away with it right now, and as we see Anthony Martin now being challenged for 2nd spot here from Aaron Tielitz.
On board with Anthony Martin, who started 4th, jumped up to 2nd in the opening corner and trying to catch up to Nico Jameen.
but can't quite do anything right now. Anthony Martin has been a standout rookie this year, by far the most consistent and the best rookie so far this year, currently 4th in the points, and he's had numerous podiums, and this just shows his strength here with John Comiskey Racing.
That's been an impressive rookie season for the team, too, with John Comiskey Racing.
Yeah, it really has, and it's tough to fight it out with the top teams such as Cape Motorsports and Pabst Racing, but they've done an astonishing job all year long. As we see now, Nico Jamin just checking his mirrors. He has a solid lead right now.
And he's enjoying those behind him battling for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. Jamin is in front here in the first race of the weekend at Mid-Ohio for USF 2000. This is NBCSN. 4 laps to go in this 20-lap event in USF 2000. This is the Mazda Road to Indy on NBCSN with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee. Nico Jamin, the pole sitter, and he is cruising in the first of 3 races at Mid-Ohio for the weekend. Jamin looking for his 6th win of the season. He came in as the championship leader, and he looks to expand that here today. Good racing, though, we've seen back in the pack.
A lot of really good racing. Senan Fielding here making his debut, now having pressure from Isla Ogren and Nikita Listochkin. This is for 9th position. Ogren showing herself into turn 2 right there. Can't quite make it stick, but maybe with a good run down the back straight, she can pull something off. I think she's close enough right now. Look at this. Here's the draft. Let's see if she can get sucked up behind that gearbox there of Senan Fielding and then pop out for a move. Can she make it stick?
Fielding will take the inside lane. Ogren looks to go around the outside, maybe an over-under. Not that time.
Not quite going to make that stick there. She tried to hang around the outside, then Senan Fielding decided to shut the door there yet again in turn 6. But Isla definitely has the pace on Senan right now, so she's just got to be smart and find a place to pass.
Fielding doing a nice job in his debut. And Ogren has to watch for the pressure from behind from another one of the Pelfrey cars.
Yeah, that's Nikita Listochkin, the crazy Russian, right behind her. So he's had some crazy racing all year long, but right now Nikita doing a great job there, putting some pressure on Isla, and then Isla in turn doing the same on Senan Fielding. But Senan Fielding has done a lot of racing in Europe, including the F4 Championship in the UK, where he's been racing with the USF2000 alumni of Colton Herta. So he is no slouch, and he's won races in F4. So that just again shows the depth and the strength of the USF2000 field.
I'm glad you mentioned Colton Herta, who raced in USF 2000 last year as a 15-year-old. He's winning races in Europe in F4 this year.
He's really come on strong the second half of the season. He really took a little bit of time to get his feet wet, but right now he's winning races and getting podiums on a consistent basis. Now, can Isla Ogren make something happen? Inside, then outside. Now, is she going to make it stick around the outside?
This is great racing, and there's so little room for air, and that's a great complex there through 4, 5, and 6.
It's by far my favorite place on this track. It just has so much rhythm to it, and when you have a car that's hooked up through that segment, it's just amazing the amount of speed you can carry. Now through turn 9, over that little bit of a crest there, so easy to lose the rear end of the car. Not this time for Senan Fielding, as they're now heading in towards turn 11.
Fielding is in the black and green car for Afterburner Autosport. Ogren in the yellow car behind for Pelfrey. And there is our leader. Nico Jamin has not been pressured since the opening corner, and he has extended that lead even more now.
And the feeling he's going to be having in the car right now is just amazing. He's got the momentum on his side. He's got the championship lead. He's had so many pole positions and wins thus far. And when you're in that feel-good zone, it's really, really difficult for other people to stop that. And Nico Jamin has just unlocked all his potential. Last year, he did a partial campaign with Bilardi Auto Racing, then moved over to Pabst Racing, and for this year has moved in with Cape Motorsports. And clearly, it's been a really good fit because they've been winning races off the bat and now leading the championship.
Now, Nico Jamin didn't start racing until he was 15 years old. He was a serious tennis player, like last year's Indy Lights champ Gabby Chavez as a kid, until he was 15, but a knee injury basically stopped that career. He did 1 year of karts, moved to cars, and obviously took to it very well.
Not bad for a tennis player at all. He's just done a great job all year long, and just looking at the the flow he's got in the car here through this amazing course of Mid-Ohio as he gets the white flag has just been incredible.
So one more time to go. There you see Anthony Martin in second place, just barely getting into the picture on the main straightaway in front of the pit road. Now heading down one of the longer stretches towards the keyhole. This is into turn number 2 on the white flag lap for Nico Jamin, looking to extend his championship lead.
And now coming out of turn 2 there, now down the back stretch, he's got one more long straightaway, and then it's a bunch of twisty corners prior to coming back to take that checkered flag. And this is going to extend his championship lead if he can just hang on here for half a lap longer.
Jamin has won at NOLA, at Barber, both races on the road course at Indianapolis, and the most recent race at Toronto. Looking for number 6 of the season, Nico Jamin has dominated this race. He's been hooked up all weekend, won the pole again, and now looking just to avoid a mistake in the final few corners. What a drive it's been for Anthony Martin, too, to equal his best result of the season. He can come home second, but he's a long way behind Nico Jamin to victory lane at Mid-Ohio for the 6th time in 2015.
Great drive, as you said there, by Anthony Martin to cross the line in second place with Aaron Tielitz in third, and a disappointed Jake Edson in second, who was hoping to capitalize some points there.
Nico Jamin celebrates. Here is the rundown, and the Tilton Hard Charger Award goes to Yufeng Lo from 10th to 6th. The Staubley Award goes to the newcomer Fielding, and the PFC Award to Cape Motorsports. Let's hear now from the winner in victory lane with 19-year-old Nico Jamin.
The start, maybe looked easy, but it wasn't that easy because Jake had a good run on me. He throttled a little bit earlier than me, but my teammate gave me a great help, like bump drafting me, so which means he pushed me in the straight line, so we both went faster, and so I could keep the lead on Jake in the first corner. And then I knew that I had a very good pace during the race, so I just keep my head down, put together some good laps, and keep the lead. I just want to go win right now and extend even more my championship. You know, I'm going to start from pole tomorrow, so I'm just going to try to do the same thing. We have a very good pace, a very good race car with Cape Motorsports, so it should be good.
Time now for the replay XD move of the race, and it was from the start. Anthony Martin started in the second row, and he got from 4th to 2nd in that first corner, turn number 4. Time for race 2 of the weekend, and more of the same. Nico Jamin dominated this one as well at Mid-Ohio for his 7th win of the season, 3rd in a row. Jake Edson gets 2nd place this time, and Tielitz 3rd for the 2nd day in a row. Top 5s for Thompson and Rickards as well. And there were 3 at Mid-Ohio, and it was a sweep for the Frenchman Nico Jamin. 8th win of the season, 4th in a row. Nico Jamin pulling away in the championship, and it's the same podium as it was in race 2 with Tielitz and Edson, and then Martin, another good result in 4th. Thompson coming home in the 5th position. So now, just 2 rounds remaining in the championship for USF2000, and it's a 50-point advantage now for Jake Edson.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be anyone stopping Nico Jamin at this point in time.
To Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and it's the 9th win now for Nico Jamin, and that clinched the championship and the Mazda scholarship. Martin gets his 3rd runner-up of the season. Edson back on the podium. Nice run for 15-year-old Kayvon Anders Sori. But Nico Jamin did what he had to do to clinch the championship, so he had no pressure on for race 16, race number 2 of the weekend at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, and Jamin finishes the season winning the final 6 races. Tielitz with his 5th runner-up of the season as well. So Jamin wins the USF2000 Championship. Edson finishes 72 back. Tielitz 3rd position, then Martin, Thompson, Gavin, Lowe, Lastashkin, Rickards, and Isla Ogren tying for 9th with Rickards. So a fantastic season for USF2000 and 2015, and no one could catch up with Nico Jameen. 10 wins in 2015, and an opportunity to talk about his championship with our own Katie Hargett at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Nico Jameen started this season with a win at Winterfest and then went on to get a record-breaking 12 poles. Nico, how was it being the driver that everyone was chasing this season?
That was a crazy year. I can't thank all the team enough, all my supports, my family, the team, Emmanuel, Gillian, all the people that come with me and support me all year. It's been a very hard season with a lot of competition. Aaron was chasing me, Jake was chasing me, even the rookies were very fast this year. So it's been very tough, but I'm very happy and proud of all the team did all together. So I'm very happy.
And you are receiving a scholarship from Mazda, so how do you plan to use that money for your career in 2016?
I can't thank Mazda enough. That program, Mazda Road to Indy, is the unique program like that in the world. That's the only way for young drivers, to go up to the best level of racing in America. So, I'm already looking forward next year, I guess. Pro Mazda, it will depend on all the opportunities, but I'm happy to know that I will keep racing in the USA next year.
Coming up next, Pro Mazda, including lap-by-lap coverage from Mid-Ohio on NBCSN. NBCSN's coverage of the Mazda Road to Indy continues with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee. On to Pro Mazda, the second step of the ladder up to IndyCar and round 13 of 16, the first race of the weekend from early August at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. You've seen the starting lineup for race 1 of 2 there. On the pole, Garrett Grist, his second pole of the season. Toronto was the other one. That was his only win of the season. Neil Alberico with his third front row start of the season. He won both poles at St. Petersburg. Timothy Beret and the points leader, Santiago Urrutia, in row number 2. Urrutia is 27 points up on Weiron Tan, who is going to start on the inside of the third row, and Tan won the most recent race, and that was on the oval at Iowa. They will start back on the backstretch, turn number 3, and Alberico from second in the white car has the advantage on the pole sitter. Alberico pulls in front of Garrett Grist, and he's in front as they get to the start line. Alberico with a great jump, and then look at Urrutia behind him in the yellow car. Urrutia trying to go around the outside of Grist, and Anders, he'll get it done to second for the championship leader.
Beautiful move around the outside there by Santi Urrutia through that turn 4. And now as we see Garrett Grist all the way from the pole back now into the third spot with Florian Latour pushing him. But it's Neil Alberico with what looked like almost a too good a jump there on the start. Dalton Kellett down the inside of Raul Owens there in turn 9. Great move for him. But look at this now already. Neil Alberico with a good jump.
Way out in front by 5 car lengths, and he was in front almost as soon as they got out of the keyhole. He was a full car length ahead by the time they got to the start line. Might race control review that?
Yeah, I think they might have to, because the rules are pretty straightforward. The leader must initiate the acceleration, and it didn't look like Garrett Grist did that. So we'll see what the race director, Scott Elkins, decides to do about it.
For the moment, Alberico is in charge, and that's Latour that went off back there in the Soul Red car, and Beret is going to get that position in the second green and white car.
Beret capitalizing on a mistake there from Florian Latour as we see some battles further back in the field here. Jose Gutierrez, Daniel Burkett, but Neil Alberico with a big lead there.
And more dirt kicked up back in the pack. Alberico, Urrutia, Grist in third, Beret and Latour, and let's look at it again.
Yeah, and this is on board now with Beret, and Florian Latour just drops 2 wheels coming out of turn 1. Such a fast corner, almost full throttle in 5th gear, 120 miles an hour through that corner, so he's lucky not to lose any more ground than what he did.
Yeah, it doesn't cost him too much, still running in the 5th position right there with Weiron Tan right on his heels. He's a driver that, without some mistakes this season, some bad luck at times, some of his own doing, he could easily be the championship leader. He's second in points right now.
Weiron Tan has been so quick all year long, but has struggled for consistency. He's had some offs, he's had some battles and some stuff go on with other drivers, but no doubt he has been one of the quickest drivers. Now, look at Victor Franzoni. He's made his debut in Pro Mazda at Toronto this year. Pato Award Owens goes off the track through turn 1. Really tough corner, especially when you're following the car right in front of you. A lot of turbulent air being kicked up by the car in front.
It was Franzoni we saw in the white 21 car. And there's the leader. Look at that advantage that Alberico has amassed. And we are told that race control is reviewing the start. So they are taking a look at that. And let's go back and take a look at Owens in that yellow 80 Pelfrey car getting off and doing a nice job of hanging on to it.
Very, very similar that to what Florian Latour did. Just 2 wheels off the ground there, but not going to lose a position. Gerrit Grist now applying some serious pressure to the championship leader of Santi Urrutia. Can he do something? Through turn 11 right now. He's going to come into turn 12 and 13. Can he line him up for down the front straight?
What do those rumble strips feel like that we saw there?
The rumble strips at Mid-Ohio are actually pretty nice to go over, so no big drama there. But certainly the one as we're about to go through here, turn 1, the exit curbing is one that you do not want to use too much of because that just sucks you right off, but none of them are going to do that right now. So now Gerrit Grist is going to try and be super late on the brakes up into that turn 2 to line Santi Urrutia up for a slipstream race down towards turn 4.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the curbs, and curbs are not all alike, and that's, I assume, part of that track walk that drivers always do when they get to a race weekend to look at how they can attack the track, where you can use more of it than other places.
Very important to know what type of track you're on, and it's so important, and that's where the returning drivers have a big advantage. Gerrit Grist has driven a Mid-Ohio ever since his F1600 days, so he knows this track like the back of his hand, and he's actually won here before in Pro Mazda for Andretti Autosport last year.
Good onboard shot here.
As we go through turn 9 there, he's just getting a little bit of aero wash from that car of Santi Urrutia, but it certainly looks like he has the pace right now as he's going to flick it through turn 9. Look at how close he gets to the wall there at the entry to the corner. Wow, that's quick.
Grist trying to get back to the front. He started on the pole. Alberico maybe went early, and he took Urrutia with him. That's Urrutia in the yellow 81 Pelfrey car. Grist in the green and white car running in 3rd position. And his teammate Beret is behind him in 4th.
Just great getting to be so much on board here with Gerrit Grist in this race. It really allows you to see the amount of hustle that goes on through the corners for these guys.
So early going here at Mid-Ohio, the first race of the weekend for Pro Mazda. Stay with us, more to come on NBCSN. NBCSN's coverage of the Mazda Road to Indy continues with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee. That's Neil Alberico in front, but he has been penalized, but not significantly. He's not moved to the back. He's been told to give up the lead to Santi Urrutia. Gerrit Grist, running in 3rd, was the pole sitter at the start of this race, as we see a little bit of damage on the front of Grist's car there. The nose cone is flopping a little bit.
Boy, that is close right there. And now the challenge for Neil Alberico is how do you give up one spot without giving up one more? So he's going to have to be really, really smart here. He's got to let Urrutia go right here without losing another spot to Gerrit Grist. So looks like he's able to get that done. Can Gerrit Grist follow Santi Urrutia through? He cannot. Santi Urrutia now in the lead, and Beret down the inside in turn 9.
He got by his Juncos teammate there, so that's Beret in the first green and white car, the number 6 car. He moves by to 3rd, so the issues continue for Gerrit Grist. Let's go back to the penalty and the decision. Tough for race control to officiate this. Grist got jumped by Alberico, as we see Latour trying to get back around for position. So Alberico has to move back and give up the lead, but it doesn't help out Gerrit Grist. Santi Urrutia gets the advantage. Let's take another look. On board with Grist as Alberico was trying to give up the lead and trying to only give up the one position.
And he was trying to be as smart as possible there, not to lose too much here. But Gerrit Grist loses a little bit of momentum through turn 8, and then Beret just sticks it down the inside into turn 9, but you can't help but feel for Gerrit Grist in this situation, who was on the pole position and had earned that, and then Alberico gets a penalty by being moved a spot back, but he still doesn't move behind Gerrit Grist. So for Gerrit Grist, that's got to feel a little bit wrong. So got to feel for him, and now he runs off the track let's hope he doesn't slide down another spot to lose that there to Florian Latour.
There may be steam coming out of his ears at this point when he hears that Alberico has been penalized, but it doesn't help him at all. Urrutia, right place at the right time. When Alberico jumped in front, he went with him as he should have.
Yeah, exactly. Santi Urrutia capitalizing on the mistake there of Neil Alberico, and Garrett Grist, just like I said, must be steaming right now, and mentally resetting yourself in this situation is so hard. So let's see if Garrett can do anything, but Timothy Bure here, who just passed him, is no slouch, so he's going to be pushing hard as well. He wants another podium in his rookie year.
So Urrutia is now in front. He's the championship leader, and this would be huge in the points race if he could get a win.
Yeah, he would pull further away, and Santi Urrutia has been the model of consistency all year long. He's just been consistent, and he's been out of the top 5 only twice the entire year, so he's certainly been putting this season together very, very nicely. But Neil Alberico, he's been so quick all year long as well, so let's see if he can do anything towards the end of this race.
Alberico is just 22 years old from California. Urrutia from Uruguay, and he's only 18 years old. And the two Juncos drivers mixing it up there. The green and white car. It's been a great season for Ricardo Junco's team. Challenging here. Ian Pro Mazda challenging for a championship in their first season in Indy Lights.
Yeah, and it can't be easy. There's got to be a little bit of growing pain there. Being a championship-winning Pro Mazda team, and then you elect to make the move up to Indy Lights. It cannot be easy to balance who do you move up to Indy Lights, who do you keep in Pro Mazda to keep the core integrity of the team together. But they've done a great job of it. And just looking at Garrett Grist here, he's dropping wheels almost every single corner, so for sure he's got to be frustrated right now.
The Junco story is a great story, from a kart team to America to eventually a Formula car team, and their first driver in the Mazda Road to Indy, I believe, was Peter Dempsey, who's had a lot of success as a driver. Now he's one of the engineers on the Pro Mazda staff.
Yeah, exactly. He's keeping all his crew close to him, just like family, and Peter Dempsey is certainly part of that family. But now looking back up front here with Santi Urrutia and Neil Alberico. Alberico has got to be smart here. He needs to take this win away from Santi in order to stand a chance in the championship come Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. He needs that $580,000 that comes with the championship.
Alberico is still within range of Urrutia, trying to force him into a mistake, but that's what Santi Urrutia has not done this season. He has made very few mistakes.
He has indeed, and just looking at Neil Alberico here, he's trying to place his wheel correct in every single corner, but Santi Urrutia just driving so consistently and so nicely, and Mid-Ohio is typically a very tough place to pass at.
Urrutia in charge right now at Mid-Ohio, the first of a pair this weekend. Just 4 races to go for Pro Mazda 2015. Stay with us. This is the Mazda Road to Indy on NBCSN. This is NBCSN's coverage of the Mazda Road to Indy, and Pro Mazda from Mid-Ohio, race 1 of 2 from the weekend. Santi Urrutia, the championship leader, is in front, and this is back for 11th position, and it's Daniel Burkett in the white number 2 car going around one of the Pelfrey cars of Raul Owens.
But now Raul has a chance to pounce right back if he can get the draft here, but instead it looks like Jose Gutierrez of Juncos Racing, and that green and white machine is going to have a chance around the outside. Can he do something around the outside of turn 4? And he can. What a great move. Just laid on the brakes there for Jose Gutierrez, and Raul Owens loses 2 spots in 2 corners. Not the way you want to end the race.
Up front, it's Urrutia, Alberico, Bure, Grist, Latour, then Tan, Pato Award, Franzoni, Owen, and Kellett. Dalton Kellett rounding up the top 10. He's coming off his best finish of the season, second on the oval at Iowa.
Yeah, and he did a great job in Iowa, along obviously with wear on Tan. It looked like Andretti Autosport certainly had the car to beat there at that track, but they've been struggling a little bit this weekend here at Mid-Ohio, as they have been struggling to even keep it in the top 5 at points throughout the weekend. So looking at your top 5 right now is Santi Urrutia, just keeping this race under control right now.
I want to also mention Michael Johnson is back, and it's great to have Michael back in the Mazda Road to Indy after a scary crash at St. Pete in practice the opening weekend. He suffered significant injuries, has been working all spring and summer to get back in the race car.
And it's always great to see Michael Johnson back on the grid. He's obviously paralyzed and has worked so hard ever since his accident when he was 12 years old on a motorcycle to come into a race car. Everything on a hand control. Yep. He's braking with the steering wheel. He's turning with the steering wheel. He's got a lever for throttle and another lever for the up and down shift. So the amount of work that Michael Johnson has to do inside the race car is far beyond that of any other race car driver.
He's a great inspiration. It's good to have him back at the racetrack and competing here again this weekend. Urrutia in control. He took over when Alberico was penalized for jumping the start of this race. Urrutia starting in fourth, went with Alberico. Grist, as we ride on board with him again, he was the loser in all of that. The pole sitter fell back to third, eventually fourth. And now just trying to maintain and make what he can of this.
Yeah, and it's just such a shame. He really was the victim in that situation and did not deserve to fall all the way back into fourth as he goes 4 wheels off the track. Florian Latour, now is your chance to pounce. He's got dirt on his tires, trying to weave that off. Can Florian Latour do anything down in towards turn 4?
Latour, last year's USF2000 champ. That's why he's in the Soul Red colors as we watch it again. And when you get off in certain sections, it is quite a ride.
And you can see he just gets a little bit of turbulent air from Timothy Buret there, and that's just enough to let the car slide understeer just off the track. And he's lucky to keep the position there, Kevin.
Yes, he is. Grist maintains fourth position right now. You wonder if it's a case of trying to make something happen when there's just not the opportunity to. Pushing a little too hard.
It's probably just complete and utter frustration at knowing that you had the pole position and thinking that, hey, I'm going to run away with this race. I've won at this track before, and then something like that happens. So Garrett Grist right now is, I think, doing a good job just keeping it on track for the most part.
How tough is it to maintain your focus in these road course races as we see a car a little bit off the pace? Kyle Connery, he's a little bit slow. That's Connery in the 91 car. What is the challenge of maintaining that focus? Because you can't mentally relax at all in any of these corners, obviously.
No, keeping the focus when you have something happen like that is extremely tough, and especially in the case of Garrett Grist, the guy that's done the championship before with Andretti Autosport. He won some races last year, and then he came into this year thinking, hey, I'm going to be the championship candidate. I'm going to be the main guy for the championship this year. Then he had a really, really tough run of races until he won at Toronto, and now finally, on pole position, he was thinking, this could be my chance to break through and finally go after this championship, but it hasn't been that way, and you have to feel bad for him.
We finish up 2015 and crown a champion. One thing to think about for 2016 and beyond, we have recently learned that there are going to be new cars in the near future for USF2000 and Pro Mazda. Indy Lights got theirs this year. The first 2 steps of the Mazda road to Indy will get theirs very soon.
It'll be very interesting to see what Anderson Promotions and the Mazda Road to Indy choose to do moving forward. In 2017, a new USF2000 car will be introduced, and then 2018, a new Pro Mazda car will be introduced based on the same platform. So very exciting times ahead.
Great opportunities, and more things will transfer moving up to the upper levels. That's one of the things that everyone liked about the Indy Lights car, because the technology is very close to what you're seeing with IndyCar. Here in Pro Mazda, Santi Urrutia remains in charge. We're winding down our lap-by-lap coverage of the first of 2 races in Pro Mazda from the Mid-Ohio weekend. This is NBCSN's 4th and final quarterly highlight show for the Mazda Road to Indy with Anders Krohn. I'm Kevin Lee. Working lap 22 of 23 for the Pro Mazda race. Santi Urrutia is in charge. Neil Alberico right behind him. He led from the start as they see the white flag, but was penalized and forced to give up the position. The pole sitter Garrett Grist runs in 4th. Right ahead of him is his teammate Timothy Buret. Those are the 2 green and white Juncos racing cars. What a day again it's been for Urrutia, though.
Santi Urrutia just trying to keep it clean here on the final lap, and this would be huge for his team, Team Pelfrey. They won a championship in 2012 with Jack Hawksworth, who's now in the Verizon IndyCar Series with AJ Foyt Racing. So it clearly shows how this Mazda Road to Indy ladder works year in and year out.
On board with Alberico, trying to make a miracle happen on this final lap, but he's got a long way to go. It's going to take a significant mistake for Urrutia, who can really start to think and try to line things up for Indy Lights. Still got some work to do to get that championship, but it's coming closer. Good shot of the crowd there. It has been fantastic this weekend. Most of the observers here say this is the best crowd they can remember in many, many years for an IndyCar weekend at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Everyone here from the Buckeye State, just such big race fans, and with Graham Rahal in the IndyCar series doing so well, it's great to see the involvement. But right now, our eyes are on Pro Mazda.
Urrutia navigating the final few turns, looking for his third win of the season. And he will take the checkered flag. Santi Urrutia wins the first race of the weekend at Mid-Ohio in Pro Mazda.
And wow, was that a crazy one. He must not have expected to have that opportunity given to him on a platter right there.
The 18-year-old from Uruguay wins again, and he will pick up some awards, including the Quartermaster Hard Charger Award from 4th to 1st. Team Pelfrey gets the PFC Award, and the Staubley Award goes to Daniel Burkett. Let's hear now from the winner, Santiago Urrutia in victory lane.
I didn't expect this victory, but it's especially for us because it's on the end of the championship. Get at this victory, get more gap on the championship is very good. But it was a very difficult race because Alberico was pushing all the races behind me. So that means everyone is trying to win the championship. So we have to keep in this way to win the championship. 3 races left. So hope to do the best in these races.
Time for the replay XD move of the race, and it's Pato Award for his pass on Victor Franzoni. That's lap number 7. Close quarter racing there, and Award ends up finishing in the 7th position. On to race number 2, Neil Alberico does get it done in this one for his 4th win of the season, and no Timothy Beret, 2nd for the 3rd time in 2015. Urrutia, also a good points-paying day, finishes on the podium as well. So that leaves 1 race weekend to go. After 14 of 16, that's how the championship stands heading into Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Urrutia hasn't clinched it yet, but he has that opportunity. And in the final weekend, Garrett Grist wins race number 1. Grist getting the win, his 2nd of the season. Will Owens' best finish of the season in 3rd, but Urrutia finishing 2nd does enough. That clinched the 2015 Pro Mazda Championship for Team Pelfrey's Santi Urrutia. So that means he could go into race number 2 without any kind of pressure, and Grist was able to sweep the weekend. His 2nd of the weekend and his 3rd of the season. A clean sweep at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca for Garrett Grist. Urrutia, another runner-up finish to add some points to his championship advantage. So, Santi Urrutia wins the 2015 Pro Mazda Championship and the Mazda Scholarship money, Anders.
Huge amount of money, $580,000 he gets to take with him to the 2016 season.
So he can start thinking about 16 and where he wants to go in Indy Lights. Let's hear from the 15 champ with our own Katie Hargett.
With 3 race wins and still 1 race to go in the 2015 season, Santi Urrutia clinches the Pro Mazda Championship this year. Santi, in the beginning of the season, you said you weren't sure you were even going to be in this battle. Why not?
For sure no, because we decided to come here 2 weeks before the championship. We find the budget, and we did two tests before the championship, and then we started in St. Pete. I never raced before on the city circuit, and we started with a 2nd place. So that was so good for us, for the team effort, for everything, to get a power for all the season. And then we was improving all the races, getting pole position, win races. And today we come here with a big chance to win the championship. Today we did it.
And all around Laguna Seca here today, there's flags for Uruguay. You've got lots of fans here, and your helmet, too, is special today. Why is your helmet so special?
My helmet is so special because Gonzalo was the biggest driver we had in Uruguay. He has an accident here on 99 in this track. So this victory and this championship goes to him. For sure he is on the sky going full power like us here. And I have to say thanks for all the team perfect for the hard work and for all the people from Uruguay because it's so far away to come here and they come to support me. Thank you very much.
And finally, a scholarship that could propel you into Indy Lights. Will we see you there next season?
It's not enough. I need to find some sponsor, but I will be in Indy Lights.
Santi Urrutia, speaking of Gonzalo Rodriguez, who died in a crash driving for Team Penske there in 1999. Fantastic 2015, Anders.
Yeah, it's been the most competitive season to date for the Mazda Road to Indy, and congrats to our championship winners of Nico Jamin, Santi Urrutia, and Spencer Piggott takes that in Indy Lights.
Already looking forward to 2016. Thanks for joining us. For Anders Crow and I'm Kevin Lee. This is NBCSN.